I'm Carolyn Holzman, and this is Confessions of an SEO. I'd like to thank Ahrefs for being the sponsor of this episode. And I'm glad you are here. Confessions is a short-form chat about SEO, but not from the conventional viewpoint, more from the bleeding edge, so be careful. You can expect plain talk and our time together to be around 15 minutes or so. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 26 of Confessions of an SEO. This is a mountain edition, and I'm titling it, Any Tool Can Be a Weapon, but Only If You Hold It Properly. Now, last week's topic was about what I see as the fatal flaw in positional correlation data, especially in niches where a lot of websites got stung by a helpful content suppression. Check it out. The link is in the description. This episode is sponsored by Ahrefs, and I wanted to let you know about their AI Content Helper. It's a writing assistant that is an add-on to plans if you want to use it in a robust manner. Now, I thought you should know, no writing expertise is needed. You can start with your article, and then it can match whatever search intent you want to approach the topic from, fill in any content gaps compared to existing content that's ranking, and it can also help improve your writing. It cuts down on manual research, and you learn what content performs best from the get-go through a content editor that acts like a real writing assistant that you can also spot any topical coverage gaps and fill them naturally within your article. It supports 173 languages, and they soon will have an AI content inventory. AI content helpers included in the content kit. And like I say, it's an add-on. You should check it out. I'll make sure you have a link in the description. Guess what I want to talk about today? I mean, you can't sling a dead cat anymore. Well, you shouldn't do that anyway. But anyway, figuratively speaking, you can't sling one and not hit somebody who hasn't at least heard some conversation about the impact of AI on our society. Well, guess what? Those that are doing client SEO, like agencies or freelancers that are working directly with independent businesses, they're having to scramble because, right around now, most businesses have noticed that their click data isn't what it used to be. Now, for those who don't live or die by the click, that's what those that do call the traffic that they get to their websites from search engines like Google and Bing and other sites, either ones they control or ones they don't, but that refer traffic to that business from a link. Now, for decades, success for many businesses, mine included, has been built by that seemingly innocent first action of that click. But now AI overlays, that's, artificial intelligence, summaries that appear in search engines. This whole process has broken what we've always assumed was an unbreakable contract, between the search engine and our websites. Google helps searchers find the websites, and these websites gave those searchers what they were looking for, ideally, and it gave the business the opportunity to convert any looky-loos into buyers. That is no longer the case. Now, Google or other AI platforms will answer the question that the searcher posed and may, in the discussion, point to a specific business or businesses, but the bottom line is they did the searching for the searcher. So the searcher isn't even searching anymore. And the issue for businesses is that process is not letting the business who is in business to sell something to a consumer in a way sort of to put the steak on the table, so to speak. These AI-generated answers are effectively taking that steak that belongs to that business, cutting it up, and serving it to the searcher. And we have some data on this. So I kind of want to ask, I'm going to formulate this by questions. Is there such a thing as a good AI? I mean, is it all awful? Now, AI covers a huge swath of activity. For instance, businesses can use AI to handle their customer service. And these types of initiatives to take generally like core business functions and remove them from humans and put them into an AI context. What we're calling that very often, they refer to that as an AI first program. Okay. So it's kind of like insert new toy kind of actions. AI is fun. Let's use it. Let's fire everybody. Amanda Natividad at SparkToro. She has a Substack that was talking about AI first, and which a lot of brands have adopted and sort of proudly shared that with the world. And in her article, she provides some insights into what it can be, what this adoption of AI can be. And she's very clear about what it cannot be. And I love this phrase, that efficiency is not innovation. Just because it helps your team or a section within your company, it doesn't automatically mean that, let's say, by firing all of your human customer service people, that it helped your customers. Making things easier for you or more efficient for those that have been hired does not equate naturally as a win for a consumer, for the customer, for the person who's doing business with that service. Has anybody here gotten frustrated with AI-powered chatbots? I know I have. So anyway, again, she has tremendous insight. I'm going to quote her here. Any company using AI has a new competitor, and that's the consumer's personal chat GPT account. And she was talking with a colleague over at another company, Content Stack, Gurdeep Dhillon. And Content Stack is a technology that helps manage all images and items, any type of content that you want to use on all your social media, and kind of have a more unified location where everything lives. So updating things is easy, and deploying things, instead of logging into 10 different social media sites, you can upload from there to all those different social media sites and write out everything from one spot. So anyway, that's just a little background. So that's why she was talking with him. And she asked what he thought about brands going AI first. And he replied, quote, skeptical. As a customer, I don't want to know if AI is involved. And in this article, Amanda's not just dogging AI first. She offered a vision of how to use AI in a beneficial manner. Quote, the future isn't AI first, it's customer first, powered quietly and competently by AI. That's almost like a t-shirt. Okay. So now it's kind of like if the clicks, if the click is dead, what kind of future do we have? Now, what's really neat about Amanda, I've met her and really enjoy her presentations. And she coined the phrase zero-click marketing. It's been a thing for a while, but I think it's coming more to the forefront because of AI. That's kind of where we are. But according to SparkToro, for every 1,000 U.S. searches, only 360 clicks go to the open web. That means almost 2/3 of searches stop. They find the answer from these AI overlays on top of search results, and that's as far as it goes, right? So you might get an impression from an answer that they stole from your website, but you may not get a click. I look at LinkedIn quite a bit just to kind of see, what are people chatting about. And there was a comment by Adam Edwards, and he expressed my thoughts and actually said it really well. Quote, yes, marketers have to adapt, but we as an industry should be advocating to restore the social contract of engagement, as well as the search engine contract of, you can scrape my site if you send me clicks in return, which AI is mostly breaking. The long-term solution is to embrace platforms that reward usefulness rather than addiction and benefit all parties. Now, for a long time, the social contract between Google and our websites was one of mutual benefit. I have a whole podcast on my take on that. It's called What's Mine is Mine. I'll put the link in there. But this two-way street is no more. So now I want to question, is Google just being mean and greedy to us by breaking this previously unspoken arrangement between us? So you have to go to the DOJ, Department of Justice, antitrust trial. They were trying to determine if Google was a monopoly. I'll put the link in there. And in one of the screenshots that was shared and captured by someone who was watching the trial, we learned that Google found itself between a rock and a hard place when it came to the AI adoption. And Nick Fox, he's Senior VP of Knowledge and Information at Google. But the screen broke it down. And this is what he's attributed to have said. We have three options. And when I read that, I remembered the Lombardi football quote, like when you throw the football, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. Okay, so he says there's 3 possible outcomes. 1, search does not erode, meaning they keep the levels and the clicks and all this kind of stuff. Or 2, we lose search traffic to Gemini. That's, the AI overlays on top. Now, Gemini was Google's initially ham-fisted response to OpenAI's release of ChatGPT. Okay, so 1, nothing changes. 2, we lose search traffic to Gemini. Or 3, we lose search traffic to ChatGPT. So his analysis was, with the first one, we prefer that one. But the worst case is number 3. So we should support number 2. Simple business math. So what are SEOs and businesses that generate revenue from SEO work products? What are we talking about? Apparently, we're spending a lot of time talking about the 3 initials to describe what it is that we're doing now. So the new buzzword is GEO versus SEO. And GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization, or basically how to get into the AI overlays. I kind of feel like the online business marketplace is like a house on fire. And the people who built it, the SEOs, are arguing if it's better to say the curtains are on fire or it's better if we say the window treatments are on fire. Heavy sigh. There is an interesting collection of quotes from marketing professionals who are at publicly traded companies, the ones that answer to stockholders, and they're constantly vying for venture capital. So we're talking about brands like Carfax, Yext, to Expedia, Reddit, LendingTree, and a lot more names that you would know. And out of the, I believe there are 49 quotes, the responses were ranked by the curator on this as either positive, negative, or neutral about the impact of AI on SEO as a marketing tool. And it broke out 21 positive, 24 negative, and 24 neutral. That's right. So 21 positive, 24 neutral, 23 negative. That's a pretty tight bell curve. But if you're noticing the math on that, there are more than 49 labels, since some brands spoke out of both sides of their mouths in their statement. Now, keep in mind, they speak knowing that whatever they say is being recorded or documented. So at the end, the curator basically said this, that it's clear that a number of companies want to downplay their reliance on Google when talking to investors, especially with AI and its potential to impact traffic was at the forefront of many discussions. And what I took from this is the larger players have options. They can make special deals with the enterprise AI giants, right? And they can also afford to take them to court. So ultimately, what are we really talking about? In my estimation, it's business, plain and simple. And consumers would be and should be shocked if they understood just how easily these AI responses can not just be influenced, but outright rigged. I read and I'm using Air Bunny's confession on a LinkedIn post, and I've been looking for it all morning, and I should be better at capturing all of these when I first find them. And yes, I understand there's an AI that could help me with that. But they were expressing, this person, their own amazement of their success in fooling the AI by putting their information in a document, but set that information to white text. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's text on a screen. You know, you can select the color that you want the text to be. And when you select white, it's like essentially whiting it out from the naked eye. But that information, that text is still in the code. And it's the code that these AI scanners and crawlers, what they capture and absorb. So when they submitted their content for the AI to read and answer their questions about who was the best SEO, of course, their name came up as the best out of the others. But that information was all the text that was in white. So how about one of those situations, I guess, where one of those large AI sources lets brands buy into their training documents. And suddenly, a brand that may be worthy is the only one that pops up in an AI overlay on Google, let's say. There's no notification to a consumer that that's a paid placement. And now we are dealing with an even more hugely unlevel playing field. Business has always been unlevel, right? Google was really sort of presented to us as a level playing field. And this is also a place where expectations have been set for years, now decades, that those at the top of Google are the best, and those that aren't at the top just aren't as good. That's how it's perceived, right? So when it boils down to perception is reality. All those businesses that went AI first and fired their employees are now quietly rehiring them because consumers were not happy with their experiences directly with AI. And AI, despite their ability to hallucinate and make things up, they are not self-generative. And I know there's somebody that goes like, Carolyn, that's not right. Look over here. AI created this new original piece of music. Really? You know, from what I understand, AI has to be trained. And in that particular case, they're trained primarily on data sets of existing music, either audio recordings or musical scores. And they do that so that the AI can learn to predict musical structures, harmony, styles. So then they can create Air Bunny's original music and no longer be reliant on using other people's music that they have to pay for. A lot of that music and art images that the AI is trained on is actually the intellectual property of their respective composers and artists. That stuff isn't generating music from only music in the public domain, which, like Google and marketing, is also a business. Sadly, a lot of creatives, they really don't even realize they've created intellectual property. And those that do and squeak are told they're greedy. But I think what's going to happen, I have to ask this, when people are no longer able to make a living, let's say investing in online content or art, we can see that eventually the innovative will not be so readily available to be a training data set for AI. At some point, we're looking at a situation where the snake is eating its tail, right? But then maybe the bright side is what's old is new again. As marketers, and we've heard this before, we need to take action now to capture whatever information we can about our prospects and our customers and begin communicating with them on a basis where we kind of come across like we know them so well that they think we're reading their minds, or maybe their GPT chats. Well, that's it for me this week. Thank you for being a listener. If you have questions about today's topic, you can reach out and text your question to me at 512-222-3132. Thank you to Ahrefs for being the sponsor of this episode. Check out the link in the description and their AI content helper. If you've got pages disappearing in Search Console, reach out to me either on Facebook or LinkedIn. Indexilla is my search engine discovery tool designed to get your pages found and indexed without relying on tiered links, pings, or deprecated indexing APIs. You can find it at indexilla.io. My indexation research project, Crawl or No Crawl, continues and will soon complete year 4. As a sustaining member at $18 per month, you will receive status reports to answer the question that bugs us all. Is it me, or is indexing off today? Search for Crawl or No Crawl. Thank you for listening, and until next week, I'll see you in the SERPs.